Hello, everybody. My name is Phoenix, and I am once again here to talk to you about the Singularity. Today's going to be a little bit different. I am going to do something unscripted, which I haven't been doing on my YouTube channel, but I really wanted to talk about the upcoming changes. But I really, really love this character, so I really want to talk about it myself too, and just kind of give my thoughts about what I think about them. Um, Patch notes overall, I really like this update, just collectively. I don't know much about Knight. It's not really my place to talk about him, but these seem good to me. I like all the perk changes. These all seem really solid. I'm very excited about the machine learning change, actually. So, the Singularity. So, I'm going to start by saying I did not think this killer was going to be getting changes. I really, really, really did not see him getting changes this quickly. Excuse me. Yeah, so I mean, uh, I'm sorry if I stutter a little bit or if I make weird noises that I cannot control. This is unscripted. This is new territory for me. So, I didn't think that this killer was going to be getting any changes this quickly. I'm very surprised. I saw the update hit. I looked through it. I saw Singularity's name. I was like, oh, look at these Knight changes. Oh, these are good. Singularity. I immediately closed the window and I proceeded to have a mini panic attack. Just did not foresee this coming. I'm very scared because, in my opinion, Singularity is a killer who's in a really good spot. He has a really low pick rate, which is very sad. But I don't think that he's unbalanced. I don't think he's particularly weak. I think he's definitely very strong in the right hands. So seeing that he was getting updates was very scary, because what I really don't want to happen is I really don't want him to become overbuffed and overtuned and really oppressive to play against, and then 2 or 3 patches from now they go, oh well, we're gonna nerf everything, and then he gets gutted. Like, I would rather him go unchanged than have him be completely overtuned. That being said, I did read through these already. I've been talking about them today with other people. I've seen other people discussing them. I really like these changes. I'm excited to try them on the PTB. I'm really excited to talk about them and try them and see what's going to change when it goes live. Overall, there's some things I'm concerned about, but I really like the majority of these changes. He is still Singularity. He's keeping his identity. His gameplay is going to be more or less unchanged. Most of this is just quality of life stuff, and I really like that. There's some little buffs here and there. I think that's really going to add up. He's got little buffs throughout his kit where every single part of his power has gotten tweaked, and that's going to add up to become, ultimately it is a buff, but it's not a crazy rework buff. It's just a quality of life buff, which is going to make him feel better to play. So I'm going to go through these and I'm just going to give you my thoughts on them. So, taking control of a biopod will now cause it to aim at the nearest survivor within line of sight. This change is pretty controversial amongst the Singularity players. I've been hearing people who are very supportive of this because this is obviously geared towards console players, right? I'm a console player. I play on PlayStation. I play with a controller. That is my main platform. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that they're trying to make him more accessible for controller players. And as for the people who are already, they play him on PC, I get the concern. I understand. I think that we really need to see how this plays in the PTB before we freak out about it. Bennett was talking about how it might change some people's muscle memory. That's fine. We learned how to play Singularity once. We can relearn this aspect of him again. It'll be a change, but it's not going to be that hard to get over. Assuming it's even that bad, it may not even be noticeable. We just don't know these things. We really have to get in there, get our hands on it, and see what it's like. But just taking this at face value, and just assuming it works like the Blight add-on, where it just kind of snaps onto the closest survivor, but this only works on the nearest survivor within line of sight of the camera. you're going to be, if you're in a camera, you're more than likely going to be trying to scan them anyway to either teleport to them or slipstream them. Unless you're like cam faking, which, it might mess with that a little bit, but again, we will see. So, making this easier for controller players, absolutely a great change. I'm all in favor of that, and I really am curious to test this out and to see what it feels like to play. Because again, we really just don't know what it's going to be like right now. Controversial change, but in my opinion, cautiously optimistic about it. After 0.25 seconds, targeting progress now decays over the next 0.5 seconds. This one's worded a little bit weirdly, but overall I think this is a good change. It just essentially means that when you're scanning somebody, that progress decays over the next 0.5 seconds. So you don't keep your... I understand what this means. It's just worded very weirdly. I don't think you'll feel the impact of this too much, though. I think this is going to be like a very minuscule change. Controlling a biopod, survivors now only glow if they can be targeted. This is a great change. I like this change a lot. It makes things a lot easier to understand, especially for somebody who doesn't really play Singularity that much. This makes things way more streamlined, and it's just a good change. It's a good accessibility change. Decreased biopod targeting cooldown after slipstreaming a survivor to 3 seconds. It was 3.5 seconds. I covered that in my power breakdown. So, this is a buff. It's not a strong, it's not a big buff, but it is a buff. So this means that you can teleport to a survivor 0.5 seconds faster than you could before without waiting for the cooldown where the green circle spins around after you slipstream somebody. This means that cam teching is a lot less, it won't be as necessary if you're trying to really keep your momentum. This is a good change. This is going to feel very good. This is going to keep him from feeling clunky. So, again, good change. Improved UI when using biopods and when shooting the killer. We don't even know what that means yet. We won't know until we see it in the PTB. Added the ability to destroy the currently controlled biopod. Love this. Absolutely love this change. Maybe not, crazy game breaking. It is a new feature, and Singularity already has a lot of features in its kit. But this is going to feel very good, especially if you are controlling a biopod. A survivor slipstreams it, or you're controlling a biopod in chase. You throw up a pod, you go to scan that survivor, you slipstream them, they EMP. You could just pop that pod and then replace it without having to manually place it and then remove it because it got EMP'd and then place it again. Like it helps his flow. It's going to help him keep his flow in chase. If you're trying to control a certain area of the map, this is going to make that easier because, I don't want to walk all the way across the map to get this biopod off the wall. So I'm just going to control it, remove it, and then it's done. So, not a substantial change, but definitely a very good one, and I'm very happy with that. Killer can now hear audio by default when controlling a biopod. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit winded. I don't usually talk this much. So again, this is the yellow add-on, the yellow sensor, the ultrasonic sensor. So right now, on live, if you select a biopod, you can hear the audio for like a second before it makes like the warbly, the whooshy sounds. This just makes that add-on base kit. So they just made a base kit, that's it. They made a yellow add-on base kit. The change itself is fine. It's kind of whatever, it's inconsequential really. But that makes me more curious about what they're going to do to the add-on. So that kind of is the pattern with a lot of these, where okay, well they made this base kit, that's fine, but what's going to happen to the add-on? So that's really what I'm curious about. So the killer now receives Killer Instinct when a survivor is slipstreamed. So all the Singularity players know about the crew manifest. The description of it was changed recently. I don't know exactly when it was changed. It was brought to my attention after Vecna was released on live, that the crew manifest, what it does now is you slipstream a survivor and it shows their aura to you. And if they slipstream another survivor by getting too close to them, then it shows their aura as well. But the add-on wording was recently changed on live. It's right now. It says it doesn't talk about the fact that you can see their aura when you slipstream them, and it only mentions when they pass the slipstream to another survivor. So essentially what they did was they made Crew Manifest kind of base kit, but they made a Killer Instinct instead of aura reading, which that's fine. This is more information. So on a Singularity, on a killer that's very like macro focused, like this is a good change. Having more information is always good. I don't think it was a necessary change, but it's a good change. I'm fine with it. I don't think this adds anything like crazy to his kit. I don't think this makes him busted. I just think it's kind of a nice thing to have. Last controlled biopod has its aura revealed in yellow for 10 seconds, was 5. Again, just a really comfortable, like, makes him more comfy, helps you really orient yourself, because sometimes you do miss that yellow aura on the biopod where you were previously controlling it. And again, it's just gonna kind of help you keep yourself oriented. Good change. So this is the one that I was afraid about. Singularity gains 3% haste while in overclock mode. So, they made Soma Family Photo base kit. Not completely. Soma Family Photo on live is 5% haste on overclock. It is one of his best add-ons. It's one of his comfiest add-ons. It makes him feel very good to play. I was in the camp of not making it base kit. I thought it would make him way too strong. But I understand. I use Soma myself as well. It makes him feel very, very, very good to play, and it really takes away a lot of that clunkiness that he can have sometimes. So, I've always been in the camp of I don't want Soma base kit, but if they do, I would like it to be a toned down version of it. I feel like that's what we have here. So, he gets 3% haste instead of 5%. So I kind of said when I was talking to, I was talking to other content creators about Singularity, and I said that I kind of wanted him to have the Ghostface treatment, because Ghostface, a while back, had some changes done where his power recovery add-ons, they were nerfed and or reworked, but they were made into his base kit in like a lesser form, so that people didn't feel like they had to run chewed pin all the time. I was like, if they're gonna do anything with Soma Family Photo, I want them to do that, because it makes people feel like they don't have to run Soma now. Like, you have a little bit base kit. So I'm very cautious about this change, but I'm more curious about what is happening to Soma, because again, that is one of probably his most popular add-on and one of his better add-ons. I don't think they're going to keep it as a haste add-on. I don't think it's going to be, oh, well, now we're going to nerf it down to 2%. Because then it really doesn't warrant being a purple, and it's probably not worth using. I would like to see it have a new effect, like a brand new effect. There's something, it's this next one actually. So I knew about this, but okay, so overclock's duration no longer scales with the number of slipstream survivors. I'm very, very sad about this. Like, genuinely, this is the only change where I am genuinely, like, upset that they removed it, because this was not anything game-changing, but it was a very good, like, hidden niche mechanic that not a lot of people knew about. And I've preached and I've told as many people as I could possibly tell about this, because a lot of people were just like, oh, that's a thing? Yes, that is a thing. And it is such a cool feature. Like, you are rewarded for slipstreaming multiple people, and you are rewarded with a longer overclock. Your lethality is increased by splitting pressure. I'm so fucking sad that that's gone. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't anything crazy game-breaking. With the right add-ons, you could have, like, a 10-second overclock, and I understand, like, Singularity is very weird, because sometimes that helps you because, oh, you had a long enough overclock where you could break this pallet, or you could pull off this window of all mind game. But honestly, having a shorter overclock can be good because then you can teleport more frequently and you can have overclock exactly when you need it. So I understand that. But I'm still sad because I really liked having this little niche mechanic. I liked being rewarded for slipstreaming multiple people and splitting pressure. Again, I'm just very, very sad to see that go. But I have a theory, I have a game theory that the scaling variable overclock duration, I feel like they might be making this into Soma's new effect. Again, that is just a guess. That's really just a theory. I don't have anything to back that. If I'm wrong, so be it. That's fine. I'm just kind of. It's fun to guess these things before we know them. So if Soma does not keep its haste effect, or if it's not doing, change to something different, I feel like the variable overclock might get slapped onto Soma as its new effect, which that would be very cool because that would still make it a good add-on, but it wouldn't make it a quote-unquote must-have add-on. So increased overclock's base duration to 5.7 seconds was 4.7 seconds. So I talked about this again in my last video, my little tips and tricks video. So Singularity's base overclock on live right now before this patch goes live is 4.7 seconds. But the variable overclock is still in the game right now. So you are never going to be in overclock and not have somebody slipstreamed. So that means in a game, the minimum overclock duration that you can have is 5.7 seconds because somebody's always going to be slipstreamed. So what they did, so this is not a buff per se, they literally just made this, they made this clearer because it's just a base duration now. There's no variable overclock, nothing changes, it's just 5.7 seconds. So this is not going to feel any different than how it does right now. Except for if you have more than one person slipstreamed, then you're not going to get that longer overclock. Also, this is good also because Soma right now reduces your overclock. Just going back to the 3% haste. This is good in the sense that it takes away the overclock penalty. That could be considered a buff, but it depends on who you ask. But it's fine. So going back down here, getting caught up. So stuns caused by perks such as head-on, blast mine during overclock mode will now cause overheat. So I've seen a lot of people asking what the fuck overheat is. I've had people DM me asking me what the fuck overheat is. So overheat is what happens when you are in overclock and you get stunned by a pallet. The pallet breaks, but you get the red flashing on your screen. You're kind of slowed. It's not a pallet stun, but it's like a movement speed penalty. It also happens when you are when the survivor is too close to a downed pallet. You teleport to them, and it breaks the pallet. It ends your overclock, and then you get that speed penalty. So that speed penalty, that is what overheat is. So essentially, all this does is this means so that if you're in overclock and you get hit with head-on and blast mine, you're gonna go into overheat. You're gonna get that same movement speed penalty. This is fine. I don't really care that this is a thing now. If you are gonna get head-on stunned or hit with blast mine, then you're probably not going to be an overclock anyway. It's very niche. It's very situational. This is fine. This is kind of whatever. This is probably a good change because, like, yeah, why can he just eat a head-on stun with no penalty? But pallets do throw him into overheat, so it's fine. Okay, added an aim assist effect to shooting a slipstream survivor. Again, kind of a controversial change. I know, not as controversial as the biopod aiming, but still, this is a good change, I think. I can see some scenarios where it might fuck you over a little bit. Like if you're trying to teleport to a survivor in front so that you can... If you're trying to teleport to a specific survivor and there's somebody like kind of body blocking you, like auto aim might kind of fuck you up there and teleport you to the wrong survivor. But again, this is really just a comfort thing, accessibility thing for controller players. And I might be a little biased because I do play on controller more than any other platform, so I get it. but I'm happy. Again, let this go to the PTV, try it, test it, try and break it, give your constructive feedback, and then, we'll see how it goes. It may not even go live. Again, this is all PTB stuff, so there's no guarantee that this is even going to go live. This is just stuff that we're testing. So we should go in, test it, see what we should change about it, see if we like it, if we don't like it, give feedback in a constructive way, and then everybody's happy. Okay, so an increased aim assist when creating biopods. I don't really know what this entails. I'm going to be totally honest, because the biopods don't have really any aim assist that I can think of right now, unless it's just they can snap to a surface a little bit better. This one I'll need to really see. Again, this may not even be anything consequential. You may not even feel a difference here. If anything, it could feel better, because you're not going to be trying to throw biopods on, walls that are not allowed, the forbidden walls or forbidden trees or whatever. This change I'm extremely happy about. I have been asking for this for a long time. I don't think removing passive EMP printing as a whole was good. It definitely would have made him a lot stronger, but this is a great compromise. So EMP printing passively at supply cases is now limited to 97%. The remaining progress must be done manually. So this is a great middle ground. I would even like to see this to lower to maybe 90 and just see how it feels. Because 97%, that's pretty far along. 3%, especially when you're hitting the button manually, is not a lot of wasted time. So what this does is this really just deters people from picking up EMPs mid-chase and then EMPing in your face. All that does is gets rid of this. This is a good change. This makes Chase Larry a lot better. So supply cases that have reached the passive printing limit now have their auras revealed in yellow. I've seen other people go over this change. I'm assuming this means to the survivors, because Singularity can't see the case auras. This is fine. This is whatever. Survivors already love the color yellow anyway, so it's just one more thing for them to run to yellow. But it's this is fine. It just tells them which ones are ready, but you can already tell which ones are ready on live because they open and they have a different aura. So they already kind of have this information. This just changes it based off of the new stipulation of, now it's at 97%. So, again, I don't really think this changes anything. It's kind of an add-on to this passive printing change. So disabled biopods will pull shortly before they are reactivated. Just giving survivors a warning before a biopod comes back online, I assume. It's kind of whatever. So decrease the aura reading range of supply cases to 28 meters. Was 32 meters. They just kind of made heavy water base kit. Which, why? Heavy water was always kind of useless, and I could go on a whole tirade about how much I fucking hate that dog shit add-on. But, again, making a base kit is kind of like whatever, but, what is it going to do now? They may not even change it. It might just keep its reduced aura reading range, because right now, if a survivor is slipstreamed, they can see the cases map wide, unless they're currently carrying an EMP. If the survivors are not slipstreamed, they can only see them within a 32 meter range. They've just been reduced to 28 meters, and heavy water reduced this, I think it's 8 meters. So again, not a really substantial change, but sure, why not? Decrease the range of EMPs to 8 meters. Was 10 meters. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I'm really afraid of this making him stronger in a way that he did not need to be. So, EMPs are strong. It's a big pain point for a lot of people. I get that. I understand. They're very annoying. They're very frustrating. But they're not broken. They're not strong. They're not too strong. They're not overpowered. They're not annoying. They don't make the killer useless. EMPs are something that deters him from playing more defensively. But if you play him more aggressively in a chase-oriented playstyle, then EMPs are kind of inconsequential. Like, you can just make people waste them left and right. The only thing that was really annoying about these was that people could just pick them up mid-chase and have them constantly because they're just passively printing. This change stops that. So, I mean, having both of them go live right now at the same time is... I'm really concerned that they are going to overtune him. But again, we'll see how this plays out. They might only keep one, they might get rid of this, but as of right now, I don't like this change. I don't think it needs to be done. I think it's unnecessary. So, decrease immunity to slipstream after using an EMP to 0.35 seconds was 2 seconds. This is a very, very good change, and it doesn't really add anything to his gameplay necessarily. It just makes him feel smoother and less confusing, because if somebody EMPs themselves, and then you slipstream, you scan them, you think, oh, I slipstreamed them, and then they don't get slipstreamed because they were in that 2-second immunity period, but your camera still went on cooldown. This kind of fixes that, so it really just adds to his flow a little bit more, makes him easier to understand and makes him feel less clunky. So, good change. I don't think it's crazy, but it's definitely a good quality of life change. I like this. So, reduce the time it takes to switch back to the Singularity to 0.5 seconds was 1 second. So, I like this. Again, I'm a big fan of the cam fake, or the camera edging, as Tomi lovingly referred to it as in my stream. Thank you for that. So this is a really good change. This makes Singularity a little bit more lethal in chase, and I love that. Again, I'm very excited to play him and try this out. It's 0.5 seconds. Ooh, it's not a crazy amount, but it's going to make a difference. It's going to make him feel so much smoother to play, and I'm very excited about that. I hope they keep that, and I hope that the auto-aim doesn't affect his camera faking too much, because camera faking in tandem with this is going to feel very good. So reduce the time it takes to switch back to the Singularity when near a hooked survivor to 1.5 seconds was 5 seconds. So this 5 seconds, that's the anti-camp penalty that you get when you check a cam. You put somebody up on a hook, you check a camera across the map, and then you wake back up, you switch back to the Singularity, you wake up. This 5 seconds is that period where you're really slow, you can't do anything, you can't swing, you can't pull out a biopod, you can't do anything. So they didn't get rid of it. It's still there, because now it only takes him 0.5 seconds to wake up. But he's now only incapacitated for 1.5 seconds. So the anti-camp is still there, but it's much, 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 much less. And this makes sense to me, because it's still good to have, like, some kind of, oh, well, you probably don't want to be near the hook because of XYZ reason. This just makes it feel less like shit. And also because, yeah, they say here, because of the introduction of the anti-phase camp system, the base kit anti-camp was kind of unnecessary. So, yeah, they could probably get away with removing it altogether, but I will take this greatly reduced version of it. I think that's fine. It's a good start. Updated various add-ons. So, that is what I'm most curious about. We won't know that until the PTB comes around and the patch notes come out. They are going to be giving some of them new effects. So I'm assuming this is going to be like Soma, maybe Heavy Water, the ultrasonic sensor. I don't know, maybe some other add-ons are going to get tweaked or touched. That would be really nice. But I am absolutely dying to get my hands on the new add-ons and to see the new effects and to try them. And then just to try all these nice changes. I think he's going to feel really good to play. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the changes individually. I like most of them. I'm really iffy on a couple of them. I'm not too sure on some of them. Some of them I really don't like. But most of them, probably like 95% of these, are really good. And really, 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 really going to help people who are wanting to pick up the Singularity. They're gonna make him feel a lot easier to pick up and play, because he's not gonna feel as clunky, and he's not gonna feel as like, oh well, yeah, he still has a lot going on in his base kit, but his skill floor, so the level that you need to kind of be somewhat comfortable playing him, is now probably quite substantially lower. and I really like that. So, I absolutely love the Singularity. I play this killer all the time, and I'm very happy that more people might potentially be playing him because he deserves all the love in the world. We love our Singularity in this household. Uh, I have seen some concerning comments. I'm not going to name names. I've seen multiple people um, being kind of gatekeepy about these changes. Like, oh, well, I spent so many hours mastering this killer and now he's easier. Like, I played him when he was hard. Like, please shut up. It's okay to make your killer more accessible for more people, especially console players, because console players I think they make up the vast majority of the player base. And besides that, 98% of the player base is not playing competitively. They're not playing Comp DBD, they're not playing in DBD League. Most of the players are just going to be like, look at this robot, he looks cool, I want to play him. And now I can play him because he feels better to play, and I could play him with a controller because I have an Xbox and I just got home from my full-time job. I could go on a whole tirade about this, but making the killer easier is not going to hurt you. I promise. I have my concerns about it too. I'm afraid that he's going to be overbuffed and he's going to get nerfed. I'm terrified of that. But I'm all for making him better because these changes, most of them don't affect high-level singularities that already know how the killer works, that are already like on their way to mastering the killer and they're comfortable with his kit. These literally just make him feel better to play. They don't change his gameplay. They don't make him easier for higher level people. They're here to make him more accessible. They're here for controller players, console players. They're here for the people who think he's too hard or he feels too clunky. And I am here for it. I want to see his pick rate go up. I want to see him get some love. I want to see him get more skins because he has a higher pick rate. Like, there are so many good things about this update that are not just, oh, well, he feels good to play. And I'm very excited to... My cat, sorry. I'm very excited to try these changes. I'm very excited to see what other people think about him. I am going to be playing on the PTB. Like I said, I normally play on console, but I do have a PC. I'm going to be playing on the PTB. I might even be streaming it. I would love to get feedback from other people. I'd love to test out the new add-ons and the new mechanics, and I'm so excited. But that's kind of my general thought process for these changes. Again, it's very up in the air right now. This is just the dev update. We don't even have the patch notes yet. So, I think everybody who is being very doomer about this needs to just take a deep breath, take a chill pill. It's gonna be okay. Making the killer a little bit easier it's going to be okay. And yeah, like I said, if you're really that concerned, play the PTB, try and keep an open mind, test things, and then give feedback, because that is how people listen. Is if you just get very angry, very doomer about it, then people are just gonna be like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, I know I rambled on here. I'm so sorry, but I really appreciate anybody that stuck around or that even cares to listen to my opinions. Again, these are just my opinions. So yeah, I will try and post some more content. I might try and post some PTB content. We'll see how that goes. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!